Yo, this is Teresa Weatherspoon, better known as Teaspoon, and you're watching Real Fans, Real Talk.
Live from the can. Vibe you can.
This is Real Fans, Real Talk. Real Fans, Real Talk. We as real as you thought. Real Fans.
What's going on? Welcome to another live edition of Real Fans, Real Talk. Oh man, another day, another dollar, another parlay going out, and there's a whole lot of sports news going down this week that we're going to get to today, plus all the questions in the comments as well. But before we get into all of that, let me introduce my co-host, my brother, Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games. What's going on there, sir?
What's really good, bro? You already know what time it is. I see you got your hat on. You ready to tip over some more? You couldn't wait.
I not because I heard like shout out to Imani. She gonna hit me. A lot of LeBron news going down. They're gonna be asking questions today. So I said, you know what? I'm coming for war. I'm ready.
I expected with the season starting tomorrow. I expected to be a lot of questions, NBA related, obviously LeBron related. So I'm expecting that. I'm not surprised if we get into a lengthy LeBron conversation.
I mean, let's get into it though. NFL, the NFL week. I'm just gonna go and start with. We're gonna get this out the way right now. Who deserves the most blame for the Giants' loss on Sunday? I mean, I would have to say the defense because you gave up what was it, 30-18 lead in the fourth quarter. So I would have to say the defense. They couldn't stop much of anything in that fourth quarter. I mean, so yeah, I would have to say the defense for me is mostly to blame. They got to do better closing out a game like that where they dominated, pretty much three quarters, and then they just came out flat in the fourth.
Yeah, I mean the defense has to take some of this blame. You give up 33 points in the fourth quarter. Granted, you're playing in altitude, you might be a little bit gassed. But for three quarters, as well as that defense played to then kind of fall apart, was a little shocking. I believe I heard a stat that Bo Nix is the first quarterback to have 2 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns in the same quarter. Again, the defense was great for 3 quarters, and then for whatever reason, it fell apart. But I want to take a step back because, it's easy to blame the defense. Again, this is a game. They were 7-point underdogs. A lot of people didn't give them a chance to win. We talked about it on Wednesday. We thought it was going to cover the over 40 points. It easily covered it. But let's not forget that the Giants kicker missed 2 extra points, which would have changed that final drive for Denver. If he makes one of them, right? If he makes the extra point right before Denver's last drive, it's a 3-point game, and they're trying to tie the game as opposed to win the game. If he makes both his extra points, they have to score a touchdown, and maybe you play that a little differently there. So there's some blame to go around, but for me, if the kicker just does his job, the final possession probably plays out differently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say kicker second though, because you still got to stop these guys at some point in the fourth. That was crazy. I think that was the first 18+ blown victory in like 1,605 games, I believe.
Yeah, it's the first time somebody had a lead that late in the game and loses the game. Again, the defense deserves some blame. I'm not saying they don't, but we also got to remember that if he makes those kicks, it's a different scenario to end the game. You're playing defense differently if you're up 4 as opposed to being up 2. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And I saw the clip. Brian Burns was mad at the coaching staff for the way they approached the final drive. They only rushed 3 guys. They kind of were in a zone defense. But you got to remember, you're trying to keep Denver out of field goal range. So you got to play it differently than if you're trying to stop a touchdown. If you're trying to stop a touchdown, you can play it different. But if you're just trying to keep them out of field goal range and Mile High, where everyone can hit a 65-yard damn field goal, you kind of got to try to take away the passing game and hope that you make the plays.
Yeah, I agree. Let me go to Ron says, how far can Dak and offense take the Cowboys? Maybe to the wild card. It probably I would say is the farthest I would go with it, because you in the playoffs you can only go but so far without some kind of defense, and that defense just hasn't looked good this season. I don't even know if it would have made much of a difference if Micah Parsons, was still with Dallas. So yeah, I think wild card is probably the peak.
Shout out to Ron Ron. You know, Ron Ron's a great supporter of the show. Ron Ron, you've heard me say it many times. The Cowboys' ceiling this year is 8 or 9 wins. I'm not swayed by what they're doing right now with Dak. Shout out to Dak, though. Dak has been amazing this year. I think Dak is playing like the elite level quarterback that people have expected him to be. It's not his fault his defense is that bad. Again, one of the things we've been teasing for a minute, pause, is that you could take the Cowboys over damn near every week. You can take the over every week and win money. It proved again yesterday. The Cowboys might be, if we did a ranking of like the most exciting teams to watch on Sundays, forget record, just pure like they're exciting, they're fun to watch. The Cowboys are probably a top 3, top 4 teams in terms of excitement because you know they're going to push the ball down the field. You know they're going to make a lot of big plays. You know they're going to score a lot of points. And on the flip, they're going to give up a lot of points. So to what Trip said, I think this team has the potential to be a wild card team that could be scary in a first-round matchup just because they could put up a lot of points. But outside of that, they're not a true contender. They're not a team that anybody should be scared of because any good team is going to be able to put up their own 30-piece on them. Jaden Daniels yesterday, who was hurt, who didn't have his receivers, they dropped 22 points. They probably could have got a 30-piece in that game if they were fully healthy. As we talked about on Wednesday, in 4 of the last 5 matchups, the Cowboys had given up 30 points. The Cowboys are going to give up points. So that's not a problem at all. They're going to give up a lot of points. Dak is just making up for it, and Dak is making them respectable with the way he's playing.
The problem is going to come in, though, is going to be in them games where you done gave up them 30, 40 points, and you get a drop pass from a CeeDee Lamb or, one of the other receivers. That's when it's going to be like, man, wish the defense could have played a little bit better tonight. But that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah, that the defense is bad and they know it's bad. And I think that's why we got to give Dak credit for how well he's playing. Because Dak has to play mistake-free football to give them a chance. He can't be a gunslinger out there. He's got to be smart with the football. And I think he's doing that, and the numbers are backing that up as well.
Listen, I told you I got him in fantasy football. So second in the league right now in passing yards has me, in good shape. So I'm very, very happy about that. Who's this? Squeeze Q to go. Is that it? 2-0? Squeeze 2 Q2O. But whatever it is, welcome, because that's the first time I seen your name pop up. But we appreciate you rocking with us. How concerning is Jaden Daniels' injury? Well, the reports say it's not a significant injury, so maybe he misses 2 weeks and then he's back. But again, that's to be seen once he actually gets back on the field.
I think it's very concerning. One, because he was just coming back off an injury, and now you get the hamstring injury. Don't forget he missed a couple games earlier this year with an injury, and now you're talking about Terry McLaurin, who's been in and out the lineup. Now Deebo Samuel's hurt. This is kind of an annual thing for Deebo, dating back to San Fran. He always going to miss 3 to 4 games every year.
Yeah.
But if you're the Commanders, you're at 3-4. And so I don't think a lot of other people had them winning this division. A lot of people thought they were going to be a wild card team. But at 3-4, now you're treading at that point where early in the season, midway through the season, you could start falling behind. You look at the NFC. The NFC West is stacked, right? 49ers are probably playing above their head. The Rams might be the best team in that division. We get to see the Seahawks later tonight. The NFC West might produce 3 teams. If you look at the NFC North, Detroit's probably the best team in that division. Green Bay got themselves back on track. The Bears are on a 4-game winning streak. You're probably going to get 2 teams out of that division. So if you're the Commanders, if you want to make the playoffs, you have to solidify yourself as the second best team in this division. They're not even the second best team in the division right now. The Cowboys are probably the second best team in the division. And that division is stronger because now the Giants are no longer a pushover. So for me, it is concerning because any lingering effects for Jaden Daniels could turn into a losing streak, could then turning into a season that's wasted and they don't make the playoffs.
Well, I was saying concerning for him personally as far as his physical health. It was a minor injury. As far as the team, yes, they should be concerned.
But I think both ways, because even in stature, he's a very slim quarterback. So he's a guy who can't really afford to take too many hits. If he's compromised by a leg injury, because that's one of his greatest strengths, his ability to move around and extend plays, get out the pocket, run for a first down. If he can't do that and he starts becoming more of a stationary target, he's going to take some punishment. That O-line is not good. It's one of the things we've talked about all year. to start the year. The O-line isn't great. The running game isn't good. Now you're telling me Jaden Daniels isn't able to move around? This could turn into like a RG3 type situation all over again in Washington.
Well, we hope that's not the
Of
case.
course, we don't want that. I'm just saying one thing, again, look at the trickle-down effect. This is second time already being injured this year. The receiving core is injured. The running game isn't good. The O-line isn't good. Next thing you know, he starts taking unnecessary hits, and now he doesn't look like the quarterback from last year.
Yeah, well, they're gonna have to figure out some way to protect him. That's it. I mean, they gave up, the best left tackle in football a couple of years back, so they never really got anybody to replace him. Shout out to Kyrie. He says Dolphins blown out by the Browns. Yeah, that was the battle of bad and worse. And the Cleveland Browns came out victorious on also messing up our parlay on that last thing. All we needed was that one touchdown from Shane in that game. Everything.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
But that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. But yeah, I mean, both these teams are really bad. Does a blowout surprise me in this situation? No, because you can just be the better of the two bad teams.
Blowout doesn't surprise me. We wondered. Remember, we asked Will. We said, would he be available to drive Mike McDaniels back to Miami if the Dolphins decided to leave him there? So we're not surprised. The Dolphins are a terrible team right now. And Tua, you popped some ish 2 weeks ago, trying to call out people, and then you go out there as a leader of this team. You throw 3 interceptions. You had 2 other balls that could have been intercepted in that game as well. You were completely disgusted in that game. Mike McDaniels, I don't know if he even knows what's going on with this team anymore. He looks just completely out of it. And maybe it's that other Miami thing that he's into going on out there, because it looked crazy. Shout out to Will. Will, let me know in the comment section if you noticed it. Trip, I don't know if you saw any of this game. It wasn't worth putting on any of the 4 boxes, right? But it was like 30-mile-per-hour winds, and it was raining, and Mike McDaniels is out there with big cocaine glasses on, big cocaine sunglasses on in Cleveland, Ohio, in the middle of October. So I don't even know if he knows what's going on with this team. But the Dolphins are a bad, bad team. They position themselves to have the top pick.
Well, let me go to Kyrie's other question here. What should happen first? Mike McDaniel fired or Tua benched? It should happen really realistically at the same time. They both should just get. Yeah. He should get fired. He should get benched. But it's probably going to be him fired first for not benching Tua sooner, and then Tua gets benched. The only problem is the backup situation in Miami is not that good. They have Zach Wilson, former Jets #1 draft pick, and we pretty much saw how that worked out in New York for him. And then they have the rookie Quinn Ewers
from Texas.
But to just throw him in with how everything is working right now is like, yo, are you trying to end my career my rookie year? Because this is a mess right now for any quarterback to go in. But at least if they had a veteran backup, you know what I mean, we could just kind of put him in, and a transition will be easier. But a rookie quarterback in this situation is going to be crazy for that guy.
Mike McDaniels deserves to be fired, but I think what's going to end up happening is Tua is going to get benched first, just because, like I said, when you make those type of comments that Tua made last week and then you perform the way he did, that's one of those where it's like, we got to bench you. You try to call out teammates and you try to call out other people, and you was the worst dude on the field yesterday. So guess what? And I agree with you. Zach Wilson was not great in New York, but consider the history of previous Jet quarterbacks and how much better they looked everywhere else. Maybe that is the move, because Sam Bradford looked terrible as a Jet. And I mean, sorry, not Sam Darnold, not Sam Bradford. Sam Darnold was terrible as a Jet, and he's been better since he's left the Jets. When you consider Geno Smith has looked better as a quarterback, not this year, but in previous years, he looked better than he did with the Jets. So maybe Zach Wilson will look better with Mike McDaniels as opposed to being a New York Jet. Nah, that's crazy. Well, that's hilarious right there. Dudes is watching the game talking about how Mike McDaniel's next stop should be rehab. Yeah, it's a terrible, terrible look for Mike McDaniel's right now, bro.
Yeah, the writing is on the wall, as they as they say in Miami. I do think both of those things happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
All right, let me see. Let me go to Hoop Central. He says, "Who is the Cowboys' number one wide receiver right now?" I mean, it's still CD Lamb, I would think.
CD.
Until until further notice, no Cowboys wide receiver is on CD's level right now. Maybe they might develop into something, but right now, CD
I mean,
Lamb is one of the top receivers in football. Like, we're not even
yeah.
going to disrespect
I,
that.
I think Hoops is saying this more from the standpoint of how well Pickens has played without CD. But make no mistake,
Nah,
CD Lamb is one of the most complete receivers in all of football. One of the most versatile receivers in all of football. You watch football week in week out. There aren't too many guys who can line up in as many different spots on the field as CD Lamb and be as effective as CD Lamb. The complete route tree. Pickens is a good deep threat. He's a guy one-on-one, give him an opportunity to make a play on the ball because he's a physical receiver. He'll go do that. CD Lamb beats coverages all different types of ways. They try to bracket him. They try to leave guys underneath, over the top, inside. The route running, his ability to get open, manipulate zones. CD Lamb, without a doubt, is not only the number one receiver on the Cowboys. CD Lamb, you can make a legitimate argument. CD Lamb is probably a top 5, top 6 receiver in the whole league.
that's what I was saying. I'm about to say, and as good as George Pickens has played since the CD Lamb injury, he ain't that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can listen. I'm not saying he can't up his game another level, but right now he ain't CD Lamb. I'm sorry. Let me see here. More impactful returns, CD or Rashay Rice going to the Chiefs? I mean, I would say both of them
Yeah, that's a good question.
pretty even. I will say this though. The Chiefs look like a completely different offense than what we saw the first couple of weeks of the season, now being healthy. Because remember, we saw Dallas, before CeeDee Lamb got hurt, we saw what that offense looked like. I think it actually the injury to CeeDee Lamb may have actually helped their offense a little bit. And then now he's back and they're looking 44 points. You can't even deny that. But with Kansas City, we hadn't seen that, and now they're back to looking like Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, this is a great question because I think both these guys obviously elevate their team.
Mhm.
And I think because of the structure in Kansas City, Rice probably has a chance to be more impactful because what they really need is a true number one. They got a lot of speed guys with Worthy, with Hollywood Brown, with this kid Smith that's playing right now. Obviously, Kelsey's not the same guy. So having a complete receiver like Rashid Rice kind of makes everyone more complimentary. But CeeDee Lamb does so much for the Cowboys. It's almost like, again, he elevates their offense as well. I'm going to say Rashid Rice just because, again, I think his ability to make it more complete for everybody and make things easier for everybody is going to allow the Chiefs to now become, again, the Super Bowl contenders and the Super Bowl threat that we expect them to be.
Yeah. Shout out to Gary Blankenship. He says Rice, in my opinion, because they were on a hot streak and got back their top guy to even boost that morale. More while the Cowboys had Pickens covering for the Lamb loss for the time being. All right. So the thing with Dallas and why the CD Lamb returning and that being so impactful is because the NFC East, have became wide open with the
Mm-hmm.
taking those two losses, and then now you beat Washington, another division rival. So that makes this thing, it's gonna be a real party in the NFC East to see who comes out of this thing as the champs. Second, because there's maybe a situation where two teams from the NFC East could possibly end up in the playoffs. Who knows? Sometimes we didn't see crazier things. And then again on the Chiefs, now they're back to looking like Super Bowl contenders.
I mean, it's something you can go either way. Shout out to Gary because, like I said, on the flip side, you can say, look, the Chiefs were still good without Rashid Rice. They just weren't. I don't think they were Super Bowl contenders without Rashid Rice. They needed that number one.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I mean, we're not talking about the Cowboys as a Super Bowl contender. They need CeeDee Lamb to just kind of be competitive. Without CeeDee Lamb, they don't have a shot at making the playoffs. The Chiefs are going to make the playoffs whether Rashid Rice is there or not. But with Rashid Rice, that elevates them to Super Bowl status.
Word. Yo, Eric, we got a special guest in the building. Our main man Drunk. What's up,
man? I was about to say, where Trump been?
We ain't heard from you in a minute. We missed you, man. Drunk says Dallas without CD is a problem. Yeah. KC without Rice still a contender.
That's what I was just saying. Yeah, without CD, they can't even make the playoffs. Whereas Kansas City is at the very least a playoff team without Rashid Rice. But with him, they elevate.
Facts. Man, Bruce said so well. Salute, bro. Oh man. All right, let me come back up here to these comments. Hold on. Where was we at? All right, I got you right here. Okay. So John says better offense right now, Cowboys or Chiefs. I mean, all right. I guess let's break it down by position, right? Quarterback, who you taking, Dak or Mahomes? That's not even a question, right? So Chiefs got that. Running back situation, I'm gonna go Javonte Williams over Pacheco and anything else.
Javonte's played well. Kareem Hunt got a little hurt yesterday. He came back in the game, but he hurt his ankle yesterday. Yeah. Javonte Williams is playing really well this year. So I agree. I would take Javonte.
Yeah, I'll give Dallas the running game. As far as the receivers, obviously CeeDee Lamb is
Cowboys have the best receiver.
Yes.
Chiefs have the better group.
Yes, exactly. Because I would take Rice and Worthy.
Rice, even though Hollywood Brown
is a little older now.
Right.
Hollywood Brown, as far as with their receivers and their tight end situation, I would give the group to the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, when you add in the fact that the quarterback is Patrick Mahomes, I got to give them a little bit more of a boost on that one. So I gotta go Chiefs.
I think but we can't just stop there. Like I said, the receiving core as a whole is better with Kansas City. CeeDee's the best receiver out of all of the two teams. The group for Kansas City is more complete. Because again, you're talking about a massive drop off after CeeDee and Pickens. Kevontae Turbin's like your number 3 guy. They don't even throw with Kevontae Turbin. Whereas Kansas City, we've seen for weeks, whether it's Hollywood Brown, whether it's Juju Smith, they can bring in a 3rd and 4th guy that can be effective. And obviously Kelsey. Ferguson's probably a little more explosive than Kelsey, but I still would take Kelsey in a big game. And the O-line for the Chiefs, I think, is better than the O-line for the Cowboys. So offensively, I think the Chiefs are just a more complete offense. The Cowboys have big playability, but it's going to be interesting to see once the Cowboys start playing better defenses if they're still able to get the ball down the field and score as easily as they've been doing recently. And remember, that game that CeeDee Lamb went out against the Bears, they only scored 14 points in that game. So it showed like that offense, if you eliminate one of those pieces, they're not quite as dynamic as Kansas City can be.
Yeah. Drunk says Cowboys on paper, but Chiefs easy in real life. Pacheco has taken a huge step back. Yes, he has.
Yeah. Pacheco hasn't been the same since that injury.
Yep.
So yeah, that's some good questions though. What else we got? Let's get some more of the NFL stuff out the way, and then we'll get back to. That's all good. Let's get the NFL ones out the way because I know everybody want to talk basketball.
Yeah.
Where we said more impactful. Chiefs actually. John said Chiefs actually back.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
You broke the golden rule. The golden rule is if you want someone else to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, you have to take away all of Patrick Mahomes' weapons. And now he's got Rice back, he's got Worthy back. Now this thing turned into a party for real. The Chiefs are looking like the Super Bowl contenders that we know them to be. Um, d- I don't think our faith in Patrick Mahomes has ever wavered.
Right.
But now that he has his weapons, what's going on with everybody else, it just kind of is clicking right now. I mean, not that the Raiders, is this big test, but they dominated the Raiders in that game. That offense looked really good. Patrick Mahomes, was he throw 3 touchdowns in that game, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
They look good. They look like a team with you now. Like how we had the question somebody had last week. You taking Buffalo on the field? They look like I might if they give me that question for the Chiefs, I might have to go with the Chiefs thing because Patrick Mahomes got two very good wide receivers out there now, and they are looking like they're supposed to be. Like better teams in football.
We had the conversation about 3 weeks ago when we talked about should we be worried about the Chiefs, and at that time I said I was worried about them because they weren't scoring a lot of points, but I also thought we needed to wait until they started getting their pieces back. This is their last couple of weeks, Trip. I just wanted to bring it up just to make sure I had the accurate numbers. Last 4 games, they've scored 37, 28, 30, and 31 points. This offense is back. This is the Chiefs from the early Patrick Mahomes days. I know some people are like, oh, the Raiders. Yeah, the Raiders ain't that good, but they put up a 30-piece on the Lions last week. They put up a 37-piece on the Chiefs, right? They are 1 or 2 plays away from their record looking completely different because if Mahomes doesn't throw that goal line interception against the Jaguars, they would have beat the Jaguars. If Kelsey doesn't bobble that pass against the Eagles, they probably had a chance to beat the Eagles. The offense is clicking now, and the defense is rolling. Last week, that defense held the Lions to 17 points. We know the Lions are one of the best offenses in football, held them to 17 points. Yesterday, they had a shutout. I think the Chiefs are officially back. I think the betting public feels that way because I know in Vegas right now they have the Chiefs as the odds-on favorite to win the AFC. And I think they're only going to get better with time. They're going to get better, and they're getting healthy at the right time. They're going to get clicking. Kelsey won't have to do as much heavy lifting. They can preserve him for the playoffs. They're good.
Facts. I know because let me just throw this real quick up there. Just Eric, just from Drunk. He just said who's closer to crashing out, Mike McDaniels or Tua?
Oh, it's easily Mike McDaniels.
I was about to say it's probably Mike McDaniels.
Easily.
So
I'm gonna flip it like this for you, Drunk. If the headline came out the mall that they found Mike McDaniel with a half a key of cocaine in a hotel and 2 strippers, you probably wouldn't be surprised.
Oh my goodness.
You wouldn't be surprised.
Probably not. Oh my goodness. All right, let me see what we got. Oh, Gary says the Giants a wild card team incoming.
Nah.
I don't know about this. They needed this game against the Broncos. Like that, if they had won this game against the Broncos, then I'll probably be like, you know what? Yeah, they it's possible. But losing that game, and then now you got the Eagles again, they're gonna be mad because you whipped their ass 2 weeks ago. So this ain't gonna be easy. Like right now, I don't think I'll take the plus on this one this week.
Yeah, the Giants.
I don't think I'll take the plus on the Giants this week. I'm sorry.
The Giants have missed some opportunities early this year. Obviously, the Broncos game hurts. That game against the Cowboys hurt when they should have won that game. But if you look at they're 2-5. Their next 6 games, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, next 6 games. At Philly, then they get the 49ers. At Bears, they get the Packers. They get the Lions. They get the Patriots. You'd be lucky to win 2 of those games. All those teams have a winning record. All those teams are playing really good right now. Like I said, you might luck into 1 or 2 wins there. But realistically, over the next 6 games, more than 2 wins, you would be super lucky. And by that point, that carries you into December 1st. By then, I think you're completely out of the mix. It's just too tough of a schedule coming up. They needed to win those games that they had to win, like yesterday and like the one against Dallas, if they wanted to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, we fans of Jackson Dart too. Definitely happy now as a Giants fan because I feel like we got our quarterback. All right, I think that was the last football question. Oh wait, hold on. Let me throw this up. Gary said all love, but go Broncos. Much love to the Giants, though. They're back and the future is bright.
I agree.
Love that comment. I think is that it. I think that was the last NFL comment. All right, let me go back up so we can switch over and talk a little bit of NBA because the season is here. Hold on. Let me see. What was our first basketball question? Oh wait, hold on. That's actually there's we did miss a couple. I'm sorry, guys. Uh, Dino Jackson says, "How many QBs are you taking over Drake May right now?" It's definitely gonna be a pretty big number. I probably I don't know. I'd probably say at least 10 quarterbacks that I'm taking over him right now. And again, no slight to him because he's been playing really well this season. Um, but I would off the top of my head, I would say I'm taking Baker over him. He's balling out. I'm definitely taking Mahomes over him. I'm taking Josh Allen over him. I'm taking Lamar Jackson over him. I'm taking let me see. I'm taking Jared Goff over him. I'm gonna take Jalen Hurts over him. I'd take Justin Herbert over him. Uh, ooh. Jaden Daniels. I mean, obviously, I'll take him over him. He just got get back on the field. Um,
Are you taking Jordan Love or Caleb Williams over him?
Probably not Caleb Williams. Jordan Love, I'm a little bit on the fence about.
This is a
That's all
great
I
question. This is a
think
great
of.
question as well.
And Dak, I would take Dak over.
Yeah, I was about to
Drake.
say you got to take Dak. This is a great question as well. I don't know if Danelle looked this up, but right now, Drake May, I believe, in terms of betting odds, is number 5 to win MVP.
Hmm.
They got him top 5. Obviously, that's subject to change. We still got a whole second half of the season to go.
Yeah.
If we just go AFC, as you mentioned, you got the big 4. You got Mahomes, you got Allen, you got Burrow, you got Jackson. So he's not getting picked over any of those 4. Then you got Jay Herbo, who I would take over him.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's probably the range we're in because now we're talking you got 5 legitimate AFC quarterbacks you would take over him. Then that next group, based off this year's performance, that next group, you got to throw in Daniel Jones. You got to
based off of this, Daniel Jones,
right.
You got to take.
You got it right because we're only comparing this year for Drake May. We're not talking about his rookie season. We're talking about this year. So in the AFC alone, he's probably 6th or 7th. Mm-hmm. You add in the NFC guys. Now you're talking about Dak, Baker,
Jaden Daniels.
I think Matthew Stafford has to be in the conversation.
Stafford,
right? Jalen Hurts, Daniels. So you're talking about him probably being maybe somewhere like 15th, 16th.
Yeah, but I was gonna say 15 to 18 in that range.
Yeah, which I don't think is a bad ranking for him because again, you have to consider that it's just there's some great quarterbacks in the league that you just wouldn't take a second-year quarterback over. This is kind of the same conversation we had about Jaden Daniels before the season. Jaden Daniels had a great rookie year. That doesn't mean I'm going to immediately start taking him over some of these other guys. Like I said, you look at Matthew Stafford at 36, 37 years old, what Matthew Stafford is doing. He's still playing at an elite level. So you're not taking Drake May over Matthew Stafford. Now, if you're talking about who's your quarterback for the next 5 years, maybe. But if you're talking about this year, I probably got Drake May somewhere in the range of like 15.
Yeah, and that's no disrespect to Drake May. I think
he's having a good year. He's having a really good year.
If we're comparing, then there's guys he's middle of the pack, and that's not bad because the guys that are ranked ahead of you, they're really good.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? And I think he's going to continue to get better. We're seeing that right now. He's got a legit number 1 receiver out there who can help him out with Stephon Diggs. And you just said he's in top 5 in the MVP ranking right now, he said?
Yeah, he's top 5 based on the betting odds. They got him at 5th, I believe.
He's going to continue to get better. Last year, obviously, they didn't have much of anything as far as weapons for him to go to. This year, he's finally got some weapons, and they look pretty good. So shout out to Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Dion Hoops page says, "What did Hurts prove? Absolutely nothing. We already knew he could throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. This is not anything new." Mm-hmm. I think the thing about Jalen Hurts is where people get it confused is that he's not a quarterback that's going to throw for 300 and 400 yards every game. The Eagles are not a team where the quarterback is going to be asked to do that. They're going to be asked to win games in different ways. Sometimes it's going to be the running game that's going off. Sometimes they're going to be relying on Jalen Carter in the defense. Sometimes it might be special teams, but it's not Jalen Hurts throwing for 350 to 400 yards and 3 touchdowns every week. That's just not how it works. They're a run first team, and the passing game is secondary, and they should be because of what Saquon Barkley brings to that offense, what he did for them last season, helping them get to a Super Bowl, and then obviously we saw they won, but yeah, that was. I don't think he proved anything we didn't already know.
I don't know why we're concerned with what did Jalen Hurts prove. Last time I checked, he's played in 2 Super Bowls. He doesn't have to prove anything to anybody at this point. Now, this offense as a whole, they need to play better. But I think we're beyond the point of Jalen Hurts proving anything. He's a good quarterback. In order for him to ever be talked about with the big 4 like we talked about, or like with the elites, yeah, he's got to be more consistent. He's got to be a guy who week in, week out can throw for 200 plus yards, 250 plus yards. So if you're asking, did he prove if he's elite? No, he didn't prove he's elite. He had a good game. He had a good game when they needed him to have a good game. But in terms of anything else, there's nothing left for Jalen Hurts to prove. He's played in 2 Super Bowls. He's played well in both those Super Bowls. He's had some good playoff performances.
Very well.
Right, he played very well in those. So it's not a matter, if anything at this point, for him to prove anything in terms of being mentioned with the elites, he's just got to be more consistent.
Yeah. Drunk says he'll take a healthy Anthony Richardson.
Well,
Drake,
Drunk, you told us you were sober, and then you make this comment, so I'm assuming you're drinking again.
The Drake made propaganda campaign has been strong on ESPN.
I don't think it's propaganda. I mean, they're 5-2. They're on a nice winning streak. Obviously, they beat Buffalo a couple of nights ago. But if you look at Drake May's numbers, he's already at 1,700 yards, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I don't think that's propaganda. I think that's elite level quarterback play. He's averaging 250 yards a game. He's not turning the ball over. Not to mention, he's a threat running the ball because he also got 200 yards rushing this year to go with the 1,700 that he got passing. Mm-hmm. It's a really good season by Drake May. When you consider that he's a second-year quarterback, and this is his first year with this head coach. This is a team that won 4 games last year. They already surpassed that. They've won 5 already, and they're in the mix as a playoff team. I don't think it's propaganda. I think it's legitimate praise for what the young man is doing.
Yeah. Dion Hoops page says, this game make you confident in the Packers? No, I cannot be confident when you beat a Cardinals team has their backup quarterback in the lineup who actually outplays Jordan Love in this game. Shout out to Jacoby Brissett. But he actually outplayed Jordan Love. It's a very close game. Again, they could have easily lost. So, it doesn't make me confident in the Packers at all.
Yeah, I'm not confident in the Packers either. Now, it was good to see Micah Parsons kind of get back into like playing like himself and being impactful on the defensive side. But I don't know what it is about the Packers. I expect more from them, and I guess maybe the hype early in the season has made us think that they should be better than what they are. But like you said, some of these games look like struggles when they're supposed to be really destroying these teams. I looked last week when they played the Bengals. That was Joe Flacco's first game there, and that game was competitive. That shouldn't have been. You're playing Jacoby Brissett, right? You're playing an Arizona team that is completely banged up because they're missing their running back. Obviously, they're on their backup quarterback. They got injuries on defense. This was a team that you're struggling with, that you're playing them down to the final possession. So for me, the Packers, I'm not confident in the Packers at all. They got to put some more wins together. I think they were one of them teams that we really liked after week 1 when they beat Detroit. They haven't looked the same since.
Yeah. Let's see. Drunk says, you guys believe in Trevor Lawrence's potential as a top 10 QB, or is it a wrap? I mean, if a lot of guys retire all at once and then there's not too many quarterbacks left, then maybe, yeah. But as of right now, no, I don't think. I mean, how long has he been in the league now? What, 5 years, 6 years?
I think this is 5th year in the league.
5 years. I mean, we kind of know what we're going to know about him. He's probably going to be a good quarterback. I don't know if he'll be a great quarterback. Definitely won't be the quarterback that was projected to be a generational quarterback coming out of college. I don't think that I think that's out the window already. Obviously he's still young, so you can still improve. Your team can get better, which means things can look better. But yeah, I just don't think so.
Yeah, it's actually his 6th year. I had to go back and check. I don't like Trevor Lawrence. The hype was real coming out of college. He's never really lived up to the hype. I know there'll be people who defend Trevor Lawrence who will say, "Oh, he's had multiple head coaches, right? He's on his third different head coach at this point." But the mistakes that they make week in, week out, and himself included. I know the receiving core drops some passes. It happened again yesterday. But the mistakes he makes, the reads he misses. There was a clip circulating on social media yesterday afternoon after the London game where they highlighted at least 3 different times that he missed a wide open receiver, and didn't even look to that side of the field. There's a guy who's 6 years in, making progressions and understanding a coverage shouldn't be this difficult for him. Yeah. He should be able to do it with ease. I think this defense is good in Jacksonville. I think their offense is kind of ished the bed the last couple of weeks, and it showed again yesterday. And what started out as a good season is now turned into them being 4-3, and I think they're on life support. I think the next 3 weeks are going to determine if they're even going to be playing meaningful football in December.
Yeah, and while we're talking about Jacksonville, I needed to say this, Eric. First of all, shout out to Travis Hunter. I think we had eight receptions, 102 yards.
A lot of that was in garbage time
in this game, but whatever. Yeah. The actual number. Shout out to him though. Skip Bayless had made some comments that I really wasn't feeling. He was basically trying to get at Travis Hunter for
getting baptized, right? Yeah, I heard that
before the game. And Skip Bayless done said some clown-ish thousands of times before, but that right there, like, really took me over the top. Like, the nerve of you to tell this man, because he want to get baptized and give his life to God, that he, like, the way he came at Travis Hunter, like, I'm just completely disgusted by that. Shout out to Travis Hunter for getting baptized, and and not caring when it was, whether it be for a game or not. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay for players to get down and kneel and pray on the field before the game, after the game. But when this young man wants to give his life to God, that's a problem. Just because it's before the game, you need to sit down, Skip. That you out of pocket with that, bro.
I thought it was a clown statement from Skip, just because if the team was okay with it, who are we to criticize? If he communicated with the team and the team said, "Hey, it ain't distracting, it ain't taking away from what we prepare in that game," like you said, who are we to criticize it? If it's no different than me telling my employer, "Hey, I can't come in this day because I have another obligation." And whatever that obligation is, if my employer is okay with it, who are you to criticize me doing that on that day? So I think there's no issue with it. There shouldn't be any issue with it. But Skip continues to find reasons to create clickbait.
Yeah. So Trunk says Skip Bayless on the gridiron is like watching. Shout out to Trunk. I think that was it for football. We can get into this NBA stuff.
Too, I know everybody hyped.
Yeah. Well, we'll just say Washington should could lose 4 straight, and they could actually lose 5 straight, including the 2 they just lost back to back.
What they got coming up? I didn't even check what their schedule got coming up. But for me, I want them to lose as much as possible because I got a futures parlay that they already offering me cash outs on. I picked 3 teams to make the playoffs, 3 teams to miss the playoffs. The Commanders are one of those teams to miss the playoffs, and it's looking good.
Well, they got the Chiefs, then Seattle, then Detroit. So that could be 5 straight because they lost to Dallas and Chicago, especially if Jalen Jones is back.
Yeah, but then they get right against the Dolphins. They get the Dolphins in Spain.
Yeah, but then you got Denver, Minnesota.
Yeah, it's not an easy schedule.
Dallas, and then Philly again. It's going to be difficult for them. But yes, Dion Hoops Page, NBA is back tomorrow night. And we know y'all want to talk about it, so we're going to talk about it. Let me just scroll back up. I want to make sure I didn't miss any basketball questions up here. And I don't think I did, so we could just keep going down. Okay. Pooh, what up, Pooh? Pooh says, Kevin Durant signs 2-year, $90 million extension with the Rockets. Is this KD's last stop? Will he retire in 2 years? Possibly. Kevin Durant has a lot of wear and tear on his body. Definitely has had an injury filled career. And who knows what will happen over the course of these next 2 seasons. So it could just very well be his last stop, but he could hang around if he's still hooping. If he's still Kevin Durant, I don't see why he wouldn't sign another contract in 2 years.
I think this is his last stop, but I don't necessarily think that it's over in 2 years. I think KD, his game is going to be able to translate. He might stick around, but I just, in terms of last stop, yeah, I think Houston is, last team. I think it's going to be Houston. I think it's over for him moving around the league. Houston has a good young core that can kind of carry KD through these latter years and allow him to just be a closer. I think this year he's still going to be all-star level KD. I think next year he'll still be all-star level KD. I think beyond that, though, he probably becomes more of that veteran closer for your team and a lot of young guys. Because I think, the Thompson twin they have is great. I think Şengün is great. So they got some good pieces there that can kind of carry KD the next couple of years. Yeah. And then and KD might just turn into one of them veterans that maybe only averages 16 a night. You know what I'm saying? But it's an impactful 16 because the young boys can carry.
Exactly. Shout out to Imani. She says ESPN's projection for the West in order: Thunder 1, Nuggets 2, Rockets 3, Clippers 4, Timberwolves 5, Warriors 6, Memphis 7, Lakers 8. Is that how you had it, Eric?
No, because I don't think Memphis is going to be a good team this year. I also think that this list is probably missing one of the biggest equalizers out west, and that is if Wemby's healthy, the Spurs are going to be a playoff team. With Wemby and De'Aaron Fox, I expect the Spurs to be a playoff team. I think the Spurs are better than Memphis. Yeah. There's somebody missing from here, though.
I think the Spurs would take Memphis' spot. In this list at least. Who are we missing on that list, Eric?
Hold on. I feel like we're missing somebody because do we view the Clippers as the fourth best team?
Oh wait, did they
where's Dallas? I was gonna say, where's Dallas?
Wait, they don't even have Dallas in the top 8. It's crazy.
Yeah, I knew the list looked off because I'm like, why is Dallas not there? I knew somebody was missing.
Dallas got to go up there too.
Yeah, Dallas is a top 6 team. Now, unless injuries become that impactful for them. I know AD is going to probably miss some games to start the season. Kyrie has already said that he might miss some games. But I still think they had Dallas at 9. Nardo said they had them at 9. I got Dallas as a top 6 team out west. And I don't think Memphis is that good.
Yeah, I don't think Memphis. They got rid of Clark. I don't know if Memphis is gonna be good this season either. Let me go back up. Hold on 1 second. All right, hold on. Okay, Hoop Central says, how good of a coach is Ime Udoka? Would y'all put him in the elite coaches in the NBA top 5?
Absolutely.
He is a really good coach. I will say that. Obviously, he still would be in Boston if all that stuff.
The politics of it. The politics of it.
But I mean, look where he goes to Houston, and it's like we picking right back up where we left off because last year wasn't no Kevin Durant in Houston.
Yeah, and they were the number 2 seed out west.
Yeah, so a bunch of young cats out there.
I put up top 5. Let's see. I think to me, Spoelstra. Yeah, I think Spoelstra's got to be on the list. I would still put Kerr on the list.
Yeah, you got to put Kerr on the list.
I would put.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible he could be in the top 500.
He probably is. Like I don't want to be disrespectful to OKC's coach. I feel like he's on the cusp of the list. I don't really want to just throw him on the list just because they won the championship last year.
Yeah, I get it.
But consider they were in the second round of the playoffs the year before, so he's done a good job of coaching that team. You know. I know we're missing somebody, man.
Oh, what's Missoula?
Yeah, I guess you could put Joe there. You can put Joe there. I mean, Joe's Joe's obviously won a championship. He's been in the playoffs every year since he's left. But the argument with Joe,
in there too, though. To be
I think
honest,
Ty Lue's in there. I agree with that. I think Ty Lue's a top 5 coach. I can tell you who's not a top 5 coach. Doc Rivers is not a top 5 coach.
no, I don't
We're not putting Doc Rivers in any conversation.
believe.
All right. I guess I would be okay with putting Ime there.
Yeah,
Because the only 2 coaches I would legitimately put above Ime would be Spoelstra and Kerr. Those are only 2. Anybody else, you could have a legitimate debate.
Okay. All right. Shout out to Pooh again. She says, I feel that with Tatum, Halliburton down, it's time for Trae Young to lead the Hawks to the finals. It's his best roster. The only problem with that is the New York Knickerbockers look really good this year. So they're gonna give them some problems. Cleveland will be healthy, for probably like around All-Star break. They'll probably be good. So I don't know if Trey can, if the Hawks have enough to win a finals or even to get to a finals.
It's a good roster, but it's predicated on them being healthy. Obviously, Porzingis extends their ceiling if he's healthy. But keep in mind, they're not even the favorites to win their division. Orlando's favorite to win that division, and Orlando probably has a better total roster as well. For Trey, it needs to be an impactful season. If not, it might be his last season in Atlanta. So when I say impactful, it's got to be like a good 50-win season. They make the playoffs, probably the second round of playoffs. If not, Trey might be out of there.
Yeah. Hoop Central says, with the NBA back, let's get y'all predictions. Who wins MVP? Who is the rookie of the year? Who wins the East and West? Who wins the title? Okay, I'm gonna start with rookie of the year. If and I'm gonna say this, I think it's actually gonna be a close race, all right, between Cooper Flag and Ace Bailey. And here's why I say that. If Cooper Flag was on a non-playoff team, then I believe it would be hands down clear, no debate, and he would be rookie of the year. But because he is on the Dallas Mavericks, who are a playoff team, filled with a couple of superstars, with Kyrie, and Anthony Davis, and they're gonna do well. I think that'll give Ace Bailey a chance to make this a close race because he may have the better individual stats because he's basically going to have, the green light to do whatever he wants because they really don't have much in Utah. Whereas Cooper, especially once Kyrie is healthy, would probably be a third option for Dallas. So his numbers maybe hurt a little behind it, but there's also a chance with Cooper that he could come out and put up and still put up numbers even with that roster.
I think rookie of the year is going to be Ace Bailey. It's a great scenario for him, and I think when you look at rookie of the year, you got to look at guys who are going to have the opportunity to shine. So as you mentioned, Cooper Flag with Dallas. Even on most nights when they're healthy, he's probably gonna be the third option offensively, right? Yeah. So he's not. He'll be impactful on defense. He'll be impactful in other ways, but he won't have the flashy, gaudy numbers. I think that's why I think Ace Bailey gets it. So I got Ace Bailey for rookie of the year. I think MVP really at this point it's either Shea or Joker. You got to go one of those two ways. Giannis the best player in the East, but I don't think Milwaukee's gonna have a good enough season for him to be in the conversation. Because I think you have to, aside from that year that Russ won it, you have to be a top 3 team to win it. So that year that Russ won it with OKC, they were 6. That's the outlier. That most years you got to be a top 3 seed. So I don't think Giannis will be in that equation. That's why I think it's going to be Joker or Shea, whoever kind of wins the West, so-called. Whoever has the best record in the West is probably going to be the leader for it. So I'll go that route there. Wins the East, it's going to be the Knicks. Wins the West. I love OKC. Y'all know that. I was on OKC early. Pause. I had them, coming out of the West for the last couple of years. I said they were the next up. but I think it's Houston. In terms of coaching, in terms of talent, I think KD just puts them over the hump now. They got some really good young guys, and I think people don't realize how good Şengün and Thompson are. And I think adding KD to that mix, the fact that they didn't really have to subtract anything from that team, and they right to get him. And keep in mind, I talked about this before the playoffs. We haven't seen a team go back to back in quite some time since the Golden State Warriors. It is super tough in the modern NBA to go back to back because there's so much talent across the board on every team. The last 5 years, I think I have mentioned it prior, the defending champ has lost in the second round of the playoffs. I think that trend is going to continue this year. So I like Houston to come out of the West. I like the Knicks to come out of the East, and I think the Knicks beat Houston in the NBA Finals.
I like the Knicks to come out of the East as well. Barring any injury, keeping Kevin Durant out, then I don't see any reason why Houston can't make the finals. But I will say this: it ain't gonna be easy. Because now OKC knows how to win, and they're gonna make a 7-game series incredibly difficult for the Houston Rockets. As far as MVP goes, though, I don't know. I feel like I want to throw a wild card in there and say Luka. Just because I don't know, I just feel like he gonna come out this season with a point to prove. So I'm just gonna throw a wild card in there. And I'm gonna say Luka, for MVP.
I like the idea of Luka, like I said, but I think you got to be one
Because
of
of
the
the
top 3
standing.
teams. Yeah, that's the only thing. I think he's gonna have MVP numbers, but are the Lakers going to win enough regular season games for him to get that consideration?
That would be the question. So, but again, I think that's my wild card pick. One other thing about Rookie of the Year, it'll be like Melo and LeBron's rookie year. I think that's how what it would be like this season with Ace Bailey and Cooper Flag. Obviously, with Melo being on the Nuggets and then LeBron being in Cleveland, LeBron winds up getting the rookie of the year. So I think it'll be a situation like that. All right, let me go to this. Hold on, let me see. Squeeze says Denver Nuggets my champion and Jokic wins MVP again. Nuggets are deep again, and he got a big man backup. Yeah. Listen, I don't count the Nuggets out.
Yeah, I think Nuggets are going to be in the mix. Like I said, I think Joker wins MVP because they're going to be one of the top seeds in the West. My main concern with them is really going to be health because Jamal Murray has not been healthy the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's a good question. The Rockets shooting guards. The Rockets guards now because Fred VanVleet is out.
Is out. They early reports they talking about starting Reed Shepard along with Thompson in the backcourt. Okay. I don't think it's that big of a deal for the Rockets because if you look at the way Ime coaches and the offense they run, similar to when they was in Boston, they don't run a traditional offense where a point guard sets everything up. It's going to be a lot of off-ball motion. It's going to be a lot of getting KD to the spot he wants and then let him operate from there. So I don't think having VanVleet would definitely help, and they may still make a move for a veteran. But I don't think early in the season it's going to affect their style of play.
And John says, I know they up there in age, but I like the Warriors, y'all. A full year with Curry, Butler, and Green and Kuminga. I think by then, I ain't saying they will win it all, but they get to the playoffs healthy. They can do damage. That's the problem, though. I just don't know if everybody's going to be healthy come playoff time.
Yeah.
So that would be my only thing with the Golden State Warriors going to the finals.
Yeah, we give the Warriors a lot of grace, and I think we all respect them for what they've done. But at some point, you got to call it what it is. They just struggle to stay healthy, and I don't know if they can keep up with some of these younger teams. These younger teams, you look at OKC, you look at Denver, you look at Houston, you even look at Dallas. These are some pretty deep teams. I don't know if the Warriors have enough talent on that bench to keep up with those type of teams.
Let me see. Let me go back to the comments. Hold up. Okay, let me go here. Shout out to Imani. She says the AP announced their all-female college players of all time. First team is Cheryl Miller, Candace Parker, Brianna Stewart, Diana Taurasi, and Caitlin Clark. This sparked rage. People saying Caitlin didn't deserve to be first team all time over Maya Moore, who won 2 titles, and Holslaw, who won 3. This is just based off of college. Let me just move this off the screen.
Yeah, it's purely based off college.
Yeah. That's why when people were like, "Oh, Asia Wilson should have been on the first team," and I'm like, "No, she shouldn't have been on the first team if we're talking about college, because South Carolina was a great team overall that just had a hell of a run, and still playing very well under Coach Staley, but they didn't have individual stars like that. Like Asia Wilson wasn't like that, and she was obviously she's really good and she turned into Asia Wilson. But in college, no, she didn't have the better college resume than a lot of them. Now the Caitlin Clark argument, yeah, I could, if you want to throw in the titles, yeah, but I think you could argue either way. I'm not gonna hold too much against her for not winning a national championship, because again, that's a team accomplishment. So I can't take away too much from her. I do know she broke a hell of a lot of records in college. Like her individual resume looks really good. So I'm not mad at that. And again, there's only 5 slots. Everybody wasn't
Yeah.
gonna make it. And you know what I mean? So what are you gonna do? Stewie definitely deserved to be there. She led her school to 4 straight. She's gonna be there. So it like I'm not mad at all. Same thing with obviously we talk about Cheryl Miller as being the GOAT, and that's only from her time in college, because we don't
Well, this is purely a college list, though.
yeah, as I'm saying. So you can't even have the bias when it comes to Cheryl Miller. But yeah, I'm not mad at any of them. Candace Parker, you know, Diana Taurasi, all of them, they're all amazing. I'm not mad.
I want to say this, right? Caitlin Clark is the all-time leading scorer in college. She led a program that wasn't even known for basketball to back-to-back national championship games. They lost in them, but she led them there. No disrespect to the other women, because the other women are great. Every one of those other women, whether they're on the first, second, or third team, you could name notable teammates they had. We could keep this live going until we record next Monday. I guarantee you nobody can name one teammate that Caitlin Clark had.
No.
Right. Now y'all want to Google it, look it up, you can. But you would not be able to, off the top of your head, remember one player that she played with on that team. So the fact that she was the leading scorer, she's taking a team that isn't even known for women's basketball to championships. You look at them other schools, we know the UConns, the South Carolinas, the Tennessees, right? Those are powerhouse schools. LSU, powerhouse schools. She's going to war against them. I think at some point we got to give her credit for what she was able to accomplish, like I said, and being the all-time leading scorer on top of that. So if you want to say, hey, she didn't win championships, okay, cool. But she played in championships. It wasn't like she was just putting up empty stats. Yeah, it wasn't like she was putting up empty stats on teams that weren't winning anything. She was dragging teams to championships. They just weren't good enough to win at all. Again, and that's no disrespect to none of the other ladies, but you got to get some sort of credit for playing at a kind of a smaller program with not as much talent and still being able to take that talent somewhere.
If she's the all-time leading scorer, I mean, where should the all-time leading scorer go?
Yeah, that's right. If you're the all-time leading scorer, you don't deserve to be on the first team.
You only have 4 years to accumulate stats to be the all-time leading scorer. It's not like the NBA or WNBA where you can have a 20-year career and accumulate stats. You got 4 years to do it. And a lot of these women, I'll probably say 85 to 90% of them came out after their senior year. So y'all had the time put in. If she's the all-time leading scorer, we got to put a little bit of respect on her name.
Yeah, I think, like I said, we get outraged by it, and I get it. It's a lightning rod conversation. A lot of people don't like Caitlin Clark, but we still got to respect the accomplishments that she had at that level.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then Monty says the second team is Sue Bird, Dawn Staley, Maya Moore, and Shamika Holslaw, and Luisa Harris. Again, I mean, like I said, you can't go wrong. You can't. None like with none of these names. Like
Yeah.
you really can't go wrong. So I'm not even,
It's a great list, but it's tough. Remember, you're picking five. You're going through the history of the women's game, and you can only pick five people. So I think that's super tough. Um,
yeah,
let's see.
it's crazy, Eric.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got next. Hold on. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. Okay, here we go. All right. Drunk says, hope the NBA games are entertaining this year. Or I'm gonna just put on clips. Of Aisha Curry disrespecting Steph. Oh my goodness.
Drunk, don't do it, man. We don't want you to fall off the wagon.
Ron says Russell Westbrook on LeBron James. I hate fake shit. I just can't do it. I think Braun tried to get Kyrie while Russ was there. And remember, Braun wanted Russ. Okay, all right. Okay. I
I mean,
I'm not sure.
we made it an hour into the show before we talked about LeBron.
Yeah, but I'm not like, all right. I mean, I that's how he feels. That's how he feels. I don't know what that I don't need to
The
say about it. That's how he feels.
the backstory on it. There was a reporter who kind of put out, I guess, some press clippings from that time. The backstory on it obviously was, yes, LeBron did want Russ originally. That's the season Kyrie becomes available. There were some secret backdoor conversations where LeBron was trying to see how they could go get Kyrie. There was that rumor of trading Russ to Brooklyn for Kyrie, and kind of reuniting Russ and KD on the East Coast and reuniting Braun and Kyrie on the West Coast. So I'm assuming
It might have helped
that
both of them.
maybe, but I think where Russ took offense to it was like, if you recruited me here and now you're secretly trying to trade me away, you know what I'm saying? I could have just gone, I could have been somewhere else. I didn't have to be here. But one of the things that we all know, it's no secret. You play with LeBron James, either you're his sidekick, or you're the whipping boy. You're the guy who's going to take the blame. That's just a known fact. That's just the way it's been for majority of LeBron's career. If you're the guy playing next to LeBron, you're probably not going to get the credit you deserve. You're probably going to take more blame than you deserve. That's just how it is.
Shout out to Day Day, Lou Williams. You have this age of kids waiting to hear his decision, and you're inviting them to a Henny party.
Talking about Braun.
Well, I don't think he invited the kids to a Henny party, and I'm sure Braun would say drink responsibly and only drink as an adult. Braun isn't the first athlete to advertise for an alcohol, and he won't be the last to advertise for an alcohol company. So that I'm not going to get at Braun for. In fact, myself and Eric have been known to dabble in a drink of Hennessy from time to time.
I do more than dabble, but I thought it was corny. I've said many times it was super corny of LeBron. LeBron is supposed to be above that type of marketing tactic. I'm not opposed to anybody getting their bag. Not like LeBron needed another bag anyway, but to kind of do an advertisement rollout in that way, and to what Day saying here, where you got kids and basketball fans waiting for this announcement, thinking it's something major, and then it turns out to be a commercial for Henny. Shit was super corny, Trip.
All right. Hoop Central says the GOAT Michael Jordan will be on opening night on NBC. Looking forward to hearing his thoughts. How could you not be looking forward to hearing from Michael Jeffrey Jordan doing commentary on opening night of the NBA? How could you not be excited? How could you not be waiting to hear what kind of gems Mike gonna say? Who is he gonna talk about? What is he gonna talk about? You like because again, Mike is a one superstar that, especially like recently, we don't really see too many interviews with MJ. You know, really him talking about too much stuff, especially what's going on with like popular culture right now, in the NBA. So I'm actually very excited to hear what MJ got to say.
I'm excited to hear MJ. I want to know exactly how they're going to be using them. Like, are they going to be using them to break down the game or just give insights here and there? So I am interested to see how they bring him into the fold because the NBC lineup looks pretty good. Carmelo's also going to be over there as well.
Nice. Right. And Kyrie says highest paid players in NBA history. Durant 598.2 million. James 581. Curry 532. Booker 520. PG 516. That's crazy that PG is up there.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Top five. That's the one that throws me off. The rest of them, I can understand. I don't know. Was this like a question or we just telling us? Like,
I think Kyrie was just letting us know that the list came out. So he probably just letting us know.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. it does. It makes sense that's with the exception of the Paul George one.
I don't know what's crazy that Paul George is on this list, or that there are some young kids who consider Paul George their GOAT. I don't know which one is wild.
Yeah, that's weird to me. Let me see here. Hoop Central, the Thunder, while they oh no, I think we put this one up. While they don't seem like they struggled at times in the playoffs, my point is they wasn't at their best and still won the title.
Mm-hmm.
This year, I think they will be even better. Nuggets with them deep and with more shooters, maybe the only team as of now.
Yes and no. I don't think it's that simple as saying, oh, they didn't play their best. I mean, they were a young team. It was their first time having that type of trip through the playoffs. So you expect, to have some nerves. But then they'll also assume that they're just going to play better this year. I mean, a lot of teams I think are going to play better this year. There are a lot of teams that look back at last year and felt like, hey, they missed some opportunities. Remember, Denver took them 7 games last year. You know what I'm saying? So Denver probably feels like, yo, we can hang with them better this year. And like I said, and I've said many times too, you can't just pencil a team in and think, oh, because they did it last year, they're going to be better. There's no guarantee they're going to be better. That might have been career years for some guys last year. That you don't know if they're going to play as well. You don't know if Jalen Williams takes the next step up. What if he doesn't take that next step up? What if Chet doesn't take that next step up? What if they are just the same team? Could they win a championship playing the same way?
We see it all the times where guys play well one season, have a nice playoff run,
right,
get a flag next season, and they are not ever that.
Right.
Again.
Right. And like I said, they are a deep team, but we're expecting everybody to get better. What if they don't? What if last year was their year? What if last year was that epitome of who they are as players? They may not elevate. So I don't think it's as simple as just saying they won it last year, even though they struggled. They won it. They had a great playoff run. They had the MVP of the league.
Kyrie says, does Kevin Durant need another title to move up into the top 10 players ever list? Do you all hold his Warriors titles against him? Okay, so just winning one NBA championship, and I will just say if they win the championship, he'd be Finals MVP. So just winning one NBA championship and Finals MVP would not be enough to move Kevin Durant into the top 10, because his individual resume is not there. And I'm not even talking about the 2 Golden State championships, because you won a championship, you won a championship. I don't give a damn, whatever. Even though I feel like it's corny to go to them after they just beat you, whatever. You still won them championships. You can't take that away from that man. But as far as going into the top 10, Kevin Durant has an MVP. He has a scoring title. I don't think he has any all defensive appearances, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure he doesn't. Obviously he has some all NBAs, he has all-star appearances. He's gonna have the numbers. The problem is everybody that's in front of him in the top 10 still have all those things plus more MVPs, plus more all defenses, plus more championships, plus more finals MVPs. So I don't think one championship and like I said, throwing the finals MVP would be enough to move the needle for Kevin Durant to get into the top 10, because the guys that are ahead of him that aren't playing are too far ahead of him resume wise. And then you throw in the guys like Steph Curry, who I would say is probably, the work just went into the top 10. He's going to continue to accumulate stats to his resume. LeBron is still accumulating stats, in things on his resume. So I don't think Kevin Durant could get into the top 10.
I think there's a chance he can get into the top 10. I don't want to completely dismiss it. You got to consider right now. I think Kevin Durant is top 16 all time in points.
Yeah, but with just one ring, and I
Well, hold on. That's not the way it's going to get analyzed, though, Trip. You got to consider if he were to win one more ring, when the resume is complete, he would have 3 rings. He would have played in 5 NBA finals. And like you said, if he wins another ring, and let's say he's Finals MVP, that would make him a 3-time Finals MVP as well. Mm-hmm. So just in terms of championships, you're on the level of all the other top 10 players because you would have 3 rings. You would have been 3-time Finals MVP. Then if you look at the totality of the resume in terms of where he's going to end up on the scoring list, in terms of how many first-team All-NBAs he has, in terms of how many All-Stars he has, you're going to be talking about a guy whose resume is strong enough to be in the top 10. So I think there's a legitimate chance he gets into the top 10. Now, let's be real. In terms of preference and who we think might have been more impactful to the sport of basketball, Steph Curry is more impactful. But in terms of who was the better player in their prime, Kevin Durant was the better player in their prime, without a doubt. So if you're telling me the resume includes 3 championships, 3 Finals MVPs, and let's say he ends as a top 12, top 10 all-time scorer, I don't see how he doesn't make the top 10 all-time list.
Because the guys that are ahead of him just got better resumes. That's the thing.
So
with one more championship, his resume is not better than Steph Curry's.
I think it would be. He's gonna be high on the all-time scoring list. He's gonna have more Finals MVPs than Steph.
Okay. Steph,
so how he's gonna have more first All-NBA team appearances than Steph. So how is it? That's what I'm saying. How isn't the resume stronger? The one thing that's holding Kevin Durant back now is probably that one championship where it was his team. Because we're always going to say, yeah, he's a 2-time champ. However, it was part of those Warrior dynasty teams. If he wins one on his own, let's say this year, hypothetically, again, you're talking about a 3-time champion who would be 3-time Finals MVP. Steph is not a 3-time Finals MVP. But Steph doesn't have more first-team All-NBAs than him.
MVP.
KD's at regular season MVP as well.
No, Steph has 2. He has 1.
All right, so he's got him by 1.
Yeah. So
who's the better player in their prime?
Kevin Durant.
Okay, so if Kevin Durant again is a 3-time champion, 3-time Finals MVP, and he's played in 5 NBA Finals, that's just the championship resume. Now we start adding in he's potentially a top 10 all-time scorer. He's got more All-NBA appearances. You don't think that's a strong enough resume to be a top 10 player?
I don't know if they will put him in just I don't know. I don't think it's enough because I don't see him winning another MVP. I don't think he's not gonna
win another MVP.
Another first team All-NBA at this point. He's definitely not gonna get no All Defense at this point.
But the All Defense, I don't think that hurts one way or the other. Steph has never been on an All NBA defensive team.
No, but he's already ahead of him. I'm just saying things that could push him ahead of people on the all-time list. So I mean, people don't even have Kobe in the top 10, and he ain't gonna push past Kobe with one more ring either.
I don't know if I put him ahead of Kobe.
But I'm saying, Kobe's don't even have Kobe in the top 10. So if Kobe's not in the top 10, he can't get past Kobe. How would he get into the top 10?
I don't know. I think Kevin Durant has a legitimate case. Again, this is all hypothetical because we're talking about him winning another championship.
But again,
right. But I'm saying it's all hypothetical. Like right now, I don't have Kevin Durant in my top 10.
Yeah.
But would another championship and Finals MVP change that? Yeah, because the totality of the resume would be very, very strong at that point. So I think it's a legitimate conversation if he had. As of right now, he's not in my top 10. But I think another Finals MVP, and you're talking about a guy who's going to end his career as a top 10 all-time scorer, I think he would be in the conversation.
Well, they're going to have to debate it when it happens. All right. Imani's here's the third. Oh, okay. Here's the third team. Shout out to Nardo for the women's college list. It's Ann Myers, Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, Brittany Griner, and Asia Wilson. Yeah. Again, I don't really have too many arguments with the list. I was cool with Caitlin Clark being on.
Ann Myers should make the list. Ann Myers should make the list.
Well, I don't. I mean,
I'm just throwing out bullshit. I have no point to debate.
I'm like, wait a
I
minute.
just Nardo put it. You know what I'm saying? They put it up there. I guess I ain't got no. Like I said, we're
Yeah.
talking about hundreds of female ball players who are probably worthy to be in the conversation. I can't be mad at nobody who makes the list.
Nardo says, my question: do y'all think LeBron James will fully take a backseat to Luka? Kenyon Martin says he got to see it to believe it. Yeah, I just like. I think, obviously, Braun has been trying to give the reins up for a little while now. I think he does. He wanted to rock with Luka. Luka is top 5 right now. And LeBron's gonna miss like the first month and a half of the season. He's gonna have to kind of get into rotation when he gets back anyway. Especially if Luka's already cooking out the gate. You know what I mean? He'll have no choice. But yeah, I think he can do it. He will. Braun never had a problem deferring. That's why people the big knock on LeBron. Oh, he doesn't want to take the pitch, he want to pass it away. So what yeah, he can do it.
The key point of this is fully take a back seat. That part I don't know, because I think there will be times where they're going to be competing to see who's the alpha of the team. Braun has had so much success that there's going to be times he's going to feel like we got to do it my way because this is what's going to work. Yeah. So I think that's where I think for the most part, yeah, it's Luka's team and Luka's going to be the guy to kind of orchestrate things. But there's going to be times where Braun is going to try to show like, no, I've had too much success in this league to just take a backseat to Luka. So that part is
playoffs more so than in the regular season. Because I can say, and listen, I know how to win. You haven't gotten to this point yet. This is what we need to do. That I could see in the playoffs.
I mean, if it happens in the playoffs, that's worst case scenario. If anything, you would prefer it to happen in the regular season, where you can work through it. Because if it happens in the playoffs, you're probably going to get bumped at that point. If you got your two best guys going back and forth.
Yeah. This is a question for you, I believe, Eric. Day says, which one of y'all was drunk saying the Knicks would win 70 games? Whoever it was, explain why.
First of all, Day, just because I was drinking don't mean I was drunk. All right. I don't appreciate you coming at me that way. Pause. I said, though, I remember the statement I made. I said the Knicks are going to win 60 games and they're going to have the opportunity to get 70 if the East is as bad as we think. And my logic on it was this. The Knicks are the most complete team in the East. I think them winning 60 games in the East won't be that far-fetched when you consider, like I said, they got the deepest roster. You look at them last year, they had times where obviously Mitchell Robinson missed most of the year. Jalen Brunson got hurt at times. They had overuses of minutes at times when they had to figure out what they was going to do with OG and Bridges. Now with the bench, with a new head coach, I think they're gonna show right away. If the Knicks get off to a hot start, 60-plus wins is easily going to happen. And then at that point, you have the conversation, could you elevate to go to 70? So I never said they were going to win 70. I said they're going to win 60 plus with an opportunity to get 70 if they start off to a hot start, which I think they will.
Let me ask you this too, Eric, because we didn't get to talk about this last week. What was your thoughts when Malcolm Brogdon announced he was going to retire?
It was a little shocking because obviously he signed late. So I assume that he signed because that's where he wanted to go. Mm-hmm. But some of the things that I read, the Knicks weren't caught too off guard by it. They said he had kind of articulated to them during training camp that maybe he wasn't sure if he was going to stick around. Mm-hmm. And the Knicks weren't too concerned about it because, again, he told them before Russ signed. So if they thought that it was going to be an issue, I would have thought they would have went after Russ. They never did. They like the team they have. So I think ultimately we're still all right. You wish you would have had it because he is the veteran type point guard that I would have liked to have on the team. But I think they're still fine.
Do you think the Knicks should go after Spencer Dinwiddie?
No, because I just don't know how him and Clarkson would fit together off that bench. They're both kind of shoot first guards. So I don't think it would work having those two guys together. You needed more of a traditional point guard like a Brogdon to make it work. But I think they're still going to be fine.
Got you. Will says, who's the worst team? My Wizards have a strong case. Over under 25 wins. Definitely under 25 wins on that one for you. Will. They're gonna be pretty bad this season.
Yeah, it's probably probably the Wiz. Because I mean, even Utah now with Ace Bailey, and they still got Laurie Marketing over there. Like Utah's probably gonna be a little bit more competitive. Maybe Portland, but it's probably the Wiz.
Yeah, probably them. Ron says, I don't know. I don't believe in the Knicks like some. I know y'all hometown dudes, but well, I'm not a Knicks fan, but I'm just basing this off of everything that happened in the league this season with
Mhm.
all of the injuries, the Tatum being out, Halliburton being out. The Bucks really, obviously Dayton would have been out, but then they wound up letting him go anyway. So for me, it's that plus how good the Knicks are, the combination of those things.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
And I
it
don't know
ain't
about
fair.
70 games. I'm saying they could win a championship.
No, I mean, like I said, I'm not guaranteeing 70 games. I think they're going to win 60 games. And then I think at that point, you know, anything's on the table at that point. Again, if you get off to a hot enough start, 70 games could be in play if you're off to a fast start. But let's leave 70 games alone. Let's leave that alone. The Knicks have shown nothing but a gradual progression since Leon Rose has taken over in the front office of this team. It's the deepest roster in the East. We talked about this the other day with Will Gordon. With Boston being where they're at, whether Tatum comes back this year, we don't know if they'll even force that issue. With Milwaukee where they're at, yes, Giannis the best player in the conference, but they're by far not the best team in the conference.
Yeah.
The only teams that you look at in terms of progression and who have continued to take steps closer to being a championship team in the East right now are really New York and Cleveland. They're the only two teams that have been consistent playoff teams and that have shown consistently that, hey, we're getting better year by year. And now they're the best two teams in a wide open East. So you may not buy into the Knicks, and that's cool. Ron, you might have been one of the people that didn't believe me when I said Shea was going to win MVP. You might have been one of the people that didn't believe me when I said the Oklahoma City Thunder are coming and they're the next team up. So that's how I feel about the Knicks. I think the Knicks are the next team up. And if you look at since Jalen Brunson has got there, every year it's been this gradual progression. Now the next step is to get to an NBA Finals.
Ron says, what rookie on Philly is legit? I forget his name.
VJ Escombe from Tennessee.
Yep, that is correct.
They've been comparing him to D Wade since the draft.
Yeah, he is supposed to be nice. All right, let me see. Hold on, Eric. If you put Caitlin on a team with great players, her average wouldn't be that high. Imagine if Cheryl and Diana had nobodies; they would have 30 to 42. Just my thought.
Fair,
but then it would be like Asia Wilson. She'd be on the third team. Like that's the case. But we can't knock her resume because she didn't have teammates.
So let's say this. All right. So if you put her on a team with great players, all right. So maybe she's not the all-time leading scorer, but you know what she is? A champion then, because she probably wins a championship. So then we're having a completely different conversation. And on the flip side,
I need an assist leader though.
Right. And then on the flip side, maybe Diana Taurasi doesn't win the championship she won at UConn, but she has great numbers. So it's still the same conversation.
Yeah. John says, Eric, you can't badmouth Tatum.
It's all right. We beat them in the playoffs. That's all I needed to see. And if Tatum comes back, trust me, I'll be ready to badmouth him again. Pause.
Nardo says, Trip, LeBron can't do no wrong in your eyes, right? I'll probably say 85% correct on that one. LeBron definitely gets grace from me. But if LeBron did something that I really felt like, you know what I'm saying, like, yo, you bugging, I would definitely say it. Like that's one thing. Like I'm not about to let LeBron get up here, disrespect no woman or nothing like that, no kids, do no Wild Bill stuff, and I'm gonna give him a pass. It's just, fun, basketball stuff. It ain't nothing crazy. Even, you might think, the commercial fantasy might be corny, but it ain't nothing crazy. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But I would, if he did something wild, I would hold him accountable. No, this is, I guess, in the money thing. Nardo says Paul George been stealing money for years. Facts. Curry, Jason Tatum won.
He ain't got it. Listen, he ain't got to hit no hate from me all year. He gonna be on the sidelines.
He got a year off. It's good.
He got a year off.
Hope Central said, how is Steph Curry ahead of Durant career wise? Well, one, he has more rings than Kevin Durant. He has more MVPs. So, and he's the greatest shooter of all time. You know what it is? I think with Steph always gets the boost because when people say you're the greatest of all time or something, they're gonna give you a little boost behind that. So I think that's what it is with Steph. The fact that he's regarded by I don't think anyone ever I don't think I've seen anyone say there was a better shooter than Steph Curry in the history of the NBA. Like I don't even think there's an argument. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that that there was someone other than Steph Curry as the greatest shooter of all time. And again, when people have you as the greatest something of all time, they give you a little extra push.
Yeah, I mean, right now, as we talk about this today, Hoop Central, Steph's resume is stronger than Kevin Durant's. And that's why I used the debate earlier. I said in terms of who was the best at their peak, I think Durant is the better player. But if we're talking about top 10, top 5, whatever, top 20, you got to use the totality of the resume. And Steph's resume is stronger. Steph is a 4-time champion compared to the 2-time champion with KD, right? Steph is a 2-time MVP, whereas KD is a 1-time MVP. Steph is the greatest shooter of all time. He's obviously the 3-point leader. And when it's all said and done in points, he's probably going to be somewhere in that 15 to 20 range as well. So the totality of his resume, I think, is stronger than Kevin Durant's at this point. But also, to the conversation we used earlier, that's why I said if Kevin Durant were to win another one with a Finals MVP, it changes the narrative a little bit. Right now, it's still Steph, though.
Curry says it's crazy to me how Durant only has 4 scoring titles. Don't it seem like he should have more? He probably would if he wasn't injury prone. That's why he doesn't have more, because he misses too much time. So, yes, you're right. He should have more, but he's ended a couple of seasons early, and he usually misses time throughout the season. So,
well, he sacrificed some of those seasons too, because in Golden State, that's those 3 years there, that's prime Kevin Durant that would have probably won scoring titles had he stayed in OKC. You're sacrificing shots there. Same thing in Brooklyn. You're sacrificing shots so that other guys can get the opportunity. This year, we might see KD back to KD because, again, it's without a doubt, he's the alpha there. So he get his 25 shots a night.
Drunk says the Steph disrespect is real. KD was nice, but Steph in his prime was stupid. Like unreal. He literally changed the game.
He did. But Trump, I'll ask you again. In their prime, who was a better player? Steph was great in his prime. I'm not debating that. But in their prime, Kevin Durant is a better player. And when they were on the same team, it showed who was the best player on their team when they were teammates.
Durant.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was both their prime.
Without Steph, Braun runs rampant through the league and probably has 7 rings. Yeah, but Kevin Durant was also a part of that too. So
yeah,
that's the only thing.
I mean, I don't know if we could say that.
Eric, who comes out of the top 10 then for Durant? That's what I'm saying. I don't.
Off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember who we put in the top 10 before.
All right, so let's run them off. Right, MJ is not happening.
MJ, Braun,
I want to see it happening.
Right.
Magic, no, it's not happening. Kareem,
no.
Okay. Larry Bird.
If KD has 3 championships, this conversation is purely rooted in if KD has 3 championships.
Yeah.
If KD has 3 championships, right? Because the only reason we're talking about KD in the top 10 is if he has the 3 finals.
Yeah, because right now he wouldn't be.
Right. If he got the 3 finals MVPs, yeah, Bird would probably come out of there.
Nah, I don't know, because Bird got 3 MVPs.
But again, the totality of the resume. KD's resume would be stronger.
How would it be stronger? They both would have 3 rings.
KD would be a top 10 scorer with 3 rings and 5 finals appearances. Him and Bird would have the same amount of rings and appearances, and KD would be a top 10 scorer.
Yeah, but I don't know if you move Larry out though, because
all right, you want to keep Larry in? All right, go ahead. Let's keep going.
Let me see. He also has 9 All-NBA first teams to his.
How
6.
many is KD got? 6 first teams.
Yeah, and Larry got 9 All-NBA first teams. Plus, he got 3 All-Defensive second teams too. So, I don't know. I don't think you can move Larry out, but whatever.
Bird has 3 MVPs, Kyrie.
Yeah. Okay, Shaq. Taking Shaq out.
Let's bookmark Shaq. Shaq might have to go out of that too.
Okay.
Because for me, I don't really have Shaq in my top 10. Like I said, I think we're missing. So far, we haven't named Tim Duncan. I think Tim Duncan needs to be in the top 10.
That's where I was going next. All right, Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
Wilt.
Now Wilt stays in the top 10.
Bill Russell.
You got Bill Russell.
I don't think you can't take Bill. See, as much as I'm a person that advocates and says I don't put as much as other people on championships. When you have 11, and 11 as the best player on the team, as well as like that, like you got.
All right. That's fine. To be fair, right? Because he also got as a player coach as well. All right, fine.
And so defensively as well too.
Bill stays in because Bill might have been the greatest defensive center. Shaq's coming out.
Okay, that's fair. So how many was that? Where we at? Right there.
I think we was like at 8, 9.
All right. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. All right. Who else did we miss from that? From that top 10? And we said Duncan. Yeah, we said Duncan is all right. So
Duncan. Duncan to me is highly disrespected. Tim Duncan is the top 10 all-time player.
Yeah, listen, you might even be. I'll be honest with you, you might be able to argue top 5 too. Like I'm just saying, it's Tim Duncan. We gotta put more respect on his name.
Yeah.
Than he gets. All right, so let me see.
I mean, you're talking about Tim Duncan, who's a 5-time champion. He's got multiple first-team NBA and multiple first-team all-defense.
All right, so so I think that would have been Tim right there with Shaq. But you said Shaq. All right, it would be 1, right? But then, so now, because again, it's not just he's not.
I think the two I bookmarked was Shaq and Bird. Those were the 2 I bookmarked.
Okay, yeah, Bird. Like I said, I can't give you Bird because the 9 all NBAs to 6.
Okay,
so that I can't give you. But I'll give you if you want to make the argument for Shaq, right? But here's the thing. Again, he's still not. Those are the guys that's in the top 10, but we still got a couple of guys too, right? So if Kobe's not in the top 10 with one more championship put him past Kobe, I can't say that, right?
It's a tough debate.
Then you got Hakeem Olajuwon. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. Like,
Hakeem is a personal favorite for me, but I don't know if Hakeem is top 10.
Because think about it, right? All right, so they both got an MVP. Hakeem got 2 finals MVPs.
Mm-hmm.
He also got 2 defensive player of the years, 12 all NBA, 9 all defense. How can you put Kevin, like, or do the points just put him ahead of that? Because that's, I think, sometimes we also forget you gotta throw defense in there too. It gotta matter.
Of course, it gotta matter. But I just think that when you look at the level of consistency with Kevin Durant,
Hakeem don't have that level of consistency.
I don't think he does. Hakeem's peak is probably like a 4-year stretch where Hakeem was like one of the elite guys in the league. Kevin Durant right now is Kevin Durant. We still look at Kevin Durant as one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
And prime and what do we consider prime Kevin Durant? Are we talk because if we talking prime Kevin Durant, we're talking about those not only those years in Golden State, but those years in OKC leading up to Golden State. I just think his prime lasted longer. That's no knock. You're debating. We all debating greats, so it don't matter. Like it's not like to put one person down to elevate the other. I just think his prime Kevin Durant was a longer stretch than prime Hakeem Olajuwon. And when I watched those two guys play, Hakeem was great. Kevin Durant was fucking scary.
No, that I do agree with that. Kevin Durant had the longer prime, but even with him having a longer prime, I don't know. I think Hakeem's resume is still better than Kevin Durant's.
Okay.
All right, let me see. Jokic on his way to the top 10. Someone got to come out right now.
Joker's putting together the resume for the debate too.
Yeah, but I think with Joker, I feel like it's gonna take a little bit more to put him in the top 10 because he was a little bit of a late bloomer as far as like with everybody else that's on this list out the gate. They, you know what I mean? They came out the gate swinging. So the numbers, what they was doing early is already there. I feel like Jokic became Jokic maybe like 5-6 years into his career. Like when did we?
I don't think it was 5-6 years in.
Well, when did we start talking about Joker?
Coming out of the bubble, we started talking about Joker.
So that's what I'm saying. But so, what year was that when they came out of the bubble?
That's 2020.
And then, no, I'm saying for him in his career, what year?
I think what was that, year 4 for Joker? Year 3?
2020 was year 3.
I can tell you right now.
For him,
he came in the league
since 2015.
Yeah, 2015, 2016 was his first year.
Yeah, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 2020. That's 4. No, so that would have been 2020. Yeah. So 4 years into the league. But
he was a guy.
In comparison to all those other guys, we were talking about them as soon as they came into the league. That's what I'm saying. Everybody, the guys that's
but that's a lot of that has to do with where you're drafted. We do that now. We still talk about Zion.
He come out the gate dominating. It don't matter. There's been guys that have been drafted later and just came out the gate swinging too.
Right, but we talked about them guys. The other guys you're talking about, everybody we listed in that top 10, all those guys were top 3 picks. The hype was already there around them, right? Mike was the number 3 pick. LeBron was the number 2 pick. Magic and Bird went back to back in their draft, 1 and 2, right? Who else we said?
But that's to the point though. They've been from the gate.
I don't think that's fair to use that against Joker. Joker was a 2nd round pick. So there was no hype around him. He was a 2nd round pick. He was a 2nd round pick, and he played in a city like Denver, which didn't have a rich basketball history. If he was a 1st round pick and played at LA, we would have been hearing about him from day one.
We probably would have.
But he wasn't. That's what I'm saying. So the conversation around him started a little later. No different than Shea. Shea has been great for 3 years now, but nobody was talking about Shea because he played in Oklahoma City.
And so it's going to take him a while to get there too.
When it's all said and done, Joker might have a better resume than most of them guys that's in the top 10.
I don't know about that because most of them guys was 2-way players, and he ain't that on the defensive side. So I don't know if you have a better resume because then unless we're going to just take out all of the defensive accolades that these guys got too.
I think we're getting to a point where the defensive accolades aren't going to mean as much. There's no emphasis on defense anymore. So it's not going to mean the same.
But you still got to play defense. So
it's not going to mean the same thing is what I'm saying to you, Trip. We're talking about when this is the same thing when we debate errors, right? When we talk about guys being all defensive first team, right? Like, Bird was defensive first team. I think you said like 3 times, 4 times, something like that, right?
All defense second team, yeah.
Right. Okay. It's cool. We know that meant something, but that was that era. Right now, when we look at a guy like I'm just trying to think, like Lou Dort, for example, right? Mm-hmm. We could look at Lou Dort and be like, yo, he's a really good defensive player. When his career is over, he may only make 1 or 2 all defensive teams. The defensive aspect of the game gets overlooked so often, and those guys rotate out of that spot that we don't put that emphasis on it the way we used to. We don't look at it like you said. You and I are looking at it from that way because we came from that era where you had to be a guy who could impact on that side of the ball. Now the game is so different. You look at Shea could win an MVP. Shea's not a good defensive player. Luka could win an MVP. Luka's not a good defensive player. People don't put an emphasis on that. There are people who really debate where Kyrie lands all time. We've had people in the comment section. How great is Kyrie? Is he overlooked? Kyrie has never been a good defensive player. There's no emphasis on that.
But he's also not top 10 though either.
No, of course not. I'm just saying the conversation around players and where they rank no longer is going to center around what they can do defensively because there is no emphasis on that anymore. That's a lost art in the game of being a good two-way player. Nobody cares about that.
Yeah. Drunk says Lakers play better for me on 2K when I fully cook with Luka and tell Braun to lock up. Oh my goodness. Cat talking about he don't even know where he gonna fit into the new offense.
Don't believe the hype, Drunk. Cat knows exactly where he gonna fit in the offense.
Hoops Hype says, I hope Zion can play 17 games. He talking about the Knicks winning. He talking about Zion just playing 17. Can SGA be even better this season? Yeah, because he's just now getting into his prime. So, yeah, he can get better.
He absolutely can get better.
And more dominant.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now that he knows how to win.
He absolutely can get better. His mid-range game is deadly. Obviously, he's worked on his three-point shot. And I think now we saw it in the finals. He adjusted to the way teams were trying to double team him when he was operating on the wing. I think as he gets better as a passer, he'll continue to elevate his game. But SGA definitely, I think he's got another level to go to. And the beauty about SGA listens to my criticism. Jason Tatum doesn't. That's why y'all think I'm hating on Jason Tatum. But it's not really that. It's just that Jason Tatum don't want to elevate his game.
I got you, Kyrie. I see it now. I just breezed past it, but I got it now. Hold on. Imani says, "Say Lakers make the finals." But Imani, why you gotta do that? Don't see because you trying to trigger me right now. That's what you trying to do, Imani. You trying to trigger me. Take that part out. All right. Say the Lakers make the finals. I'm gonna skip that part. Y'all don't see that on the screen. Don't look at that the parentheses. All right. And Braun loses in the finals again and has 7 finals losses. Don't it affect his legacy? But if it helps his legacy, yes. Because I mean at this point, Braun is about to be 40, 41, 42. Like, so if they lose, he's already who he is in the history books. It's not gonna change much for LeBron. But if he wins, I think it'll more so be for the like real hardcore Kobe fans that like to say, well, because Kobe got 5 rings. Like, I think that would be the only thing that would like really change either way realistically, because LeBron is who he is right now. It's not he's win or lose a championship. He's not gonna move out of the second spot.
I don't understand. We've become so infatuated with legacy talk. There is nothing LeBron James can do right now that's going to change his legacy. If he makes another finals, the people who are diehard LeBron fans are going to be like, oh, look, at 40 plus years old, he did something that Mike couldn't do. That's all they'll do. They'll just spin.
If he got MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, won a chip and got Finals MVP, then maybe. But that's damn near impossible. So it ain't gonna happen. But other than that, yeah, it's not happening. I'm just throwing hypotheticals out there. Right?
First of all, Braun don't play no defense at this point in his career.
Well, I said it was a hypothetical, Eric.
I mean, if you look up the odds of that on FanDuel, I'm gonna post the odds of that. Cut this clip so I can post the odds of that. I'm gonna put a ticket together that shows Braun Defensive Player of the Year, Braun MVP, Lakers win the championship, Braun Finals MVP. I just want to see what the odds would look like. So just make sure we cut this clip so I can add
probably like plus $1 million.
Right. But
you can put $1 and be set for life if that happens.
The infatuation with legacy talk, guys, let's just enjoy it for what it is. LeBron has had a great career. It's one of the best basketball careers ever. Again, we know what it is. If the Lakers were to make the finals, it's probably because Luka has an MVP type season. Luka is the best player on the team right now. So for the Lakers to make the finals, it's going to be about Luka making the adjustments and turning into an all-world player. Also, if the Lakers make the finals, that means LeBron fully embraced his role as the number 2 on this team, which then would lead to the conversation between the LeBron haters and the LeBron lovers, where LeBron lovers will say, oh, at 41 years old, he made the finals, Mike couldn't do it. And then the haters are going to say, well, yeah, because he was the number 2 to an MVP of the league. But ultimately, his legacy does not change. It's cemented where it's at, and it's been cemented, I think, for a few years now. We keep saying, right, the supporters keep saying we talk about the Lakers so much, and then we get questions like this, Trip. We don't think the Lakers are going to the finals, so therefore his legacy doesn't change.
And me, being LeBron, I'm not even putting them in the finals right now. I got to see how the season goes first before I can jump out the window like that. So, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Really quick, Eric, we're going to get into the final thought. Just want to update the people. Detroit up 14-3 right now over the Buccaneers. Eric, this may be the week where that streak for Baker Mayfield gets stopped because he's only got 47 yards at the half. So he's going to have to step his game all the way up in the second half to get back to that 250 on the week. But Eric, give us a final thought, man.
First and foremost, shout out to the supporters. We greatly appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Real Fans Real Talk, as well as the Sanchez Show. You know, we're back on Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. If you guys haven't, you need to lock in with us, man. The last 2 weeks, we have put together 9 legs of a parlay. We've hit 8 of the 9, man. I'm going to start something new this week too, Trip. Not only are we going to do the parlay, I'm going to start putting $25 on each one of those props that we put out just to see what it would look like at the end of the week if we bet them individually to see if we would be up or not, which I think we will. As you mentioned, the Tampa game, I got it on in the background. Mike Evans got carted off the field. They haven't announced what the injury is. But, that might be a drastic blow. But Baker's going to get the 250 now. They down 14-3. It's nothing but Gunslinger Baker from now on. So he'll probably keep the streak alive, man. But again, shout out to the supporters.
But luckily, I got Godwin, too, on my bench, even though he's hurt right now, too. So, man, I thought, all right, well, yep, good luck on that one. As far as my final thought goes, you know what? My final thought actually is, I want to talk about this. I love Clarissa Shields. And I do feel like she is the GOAT. Like, I think her resume, far passes, everybody in women's boxing. However, I can't let you disrespect Layla Ali and say, oh, she's just Muhammad Ali's daughter, because we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna disrespect, because Layla Ali is a legend. And she is one of the greatest to put on a pair of boxing gloves. Now, whether or not Prime versus Prime, who wins in that fight, I don't know, but I would say it's 50-50. But again, like that, we're not gonna disrespect Layla Ali though. Like, that's a legend. We don't do that. She's definitely not just Muhammad Ali's daughter. Like, she done put in a lot of work in the sport of women's boxing. She's done a lot while she was in the sport of boxing, and continues to do more after she's been retired from the sport of boxing. So let's not disrespect, and don't be the guys, don't be the or the ladies or the whatever in media that let people be disrespectful and you don't say nothing because you want them to come back for the next interview, and you don't check nobody and be like, wait, you know what I'm saying? No. That is not the case.
I saw that. I was disappointed in that because I'm a fan of Clarissa as well, and I think she has helped progress the women's boxing division and the platform over there. But to take the shot she's taking at Layla and then try to diminish who she is by just saying, "Oh, that's just Muhammad Ali's daughter." Like, nah, that's foul. You don't do that. You now you're getting a little too cocky.
Yeah, and again, even if y'all fought, you're not fighting Layla in her prime.
Right.
So the reality is, if you won the fight, what does it prove? That you could beat somebody 15 years past their boxing career? So it doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
And there's always a chance you could lose because you know that unk, you know how they talk about the unk strength, auntie strength too. So there's always a chance that could happen. But listen, man, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. For you guys watching, stay locked in on all our social media: Instagram, Twitter at Real Fan Talk, Facebook.com/ Real Fans Real Talk, and of course subscribe to that YouTube channel, youtube.com/ For the Fans Productions. If you're not in New York and you can't watch us on Thursday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. on Verizon 43, don't worry. All you got to do is go to the website, realfansrealtalk.com, click that red button on the homepage, and you can watch from anywhere in the world. And of course, man, make sure y'all subscribe to the two best podcasts moving. That's the Sanchez Show and the Real Fans Real Talk podcast, streaming on all major platforms. Now, with that being said, for myself, Trip Young, and my brother, my co-host, Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games, we up out of here. Peace.